Millions of people consider him a sex symbol. He is a talented, Oscar-winning actor, a successful musician, director, and just a person who has a rich inner world. In his 50s, he looks like a 30-year-old. What is the secret of his youth? Which role cost him his health, and how did drugs almost ruin his life? Jared Leto is today's hero of The Biographer. We're going to tell you how he achieves success, why he doesn't watch his films, and whom he counts as the love of his life. But first, I want you to click on the subscription button and the bell to get a little closer to your favorite celebrities and learn a lot about them. Subscribe and let's get started. Jared Leto was born in Louisiana on December 26, 1971. The childhood of the boy and his older brother Shannon was difficult. Their mother, Constance, was abandoned by her husband when the boys were little. The man got married for the second time and had 2 more kids. However, after that, Leto's father committed suicide. Jared was only 8 at that time. Jared's mother soon remarried. Her chosen one was Carl Leto. Right after the wedding, he adopted her children. Thus, Jared and Shannon had 2 more blood brothers by father and 1 half-sister. She was Carl's adopted daughter. The new family soon fell apart. The second spouse divorced Constance. As a result, the woman had to raise 2 children alone, and of course, she didn't have enough money to support her kids. Therefore, at the age of 12, Jared realized he had to look for a job. He got a job as a dishwasher at a local diner for $2 an hour. He did it in order to somehow help his family and save up for his most cherished dream, a new guitar. Jared played only on an old broken piano before that. The future actor was really good at school, but even then he was more interested in painting and music. Leto owes his craving for art to his mother. She was fond of hippie ideology and was part of the circle of creative people. Since childhood, Jared had been surrounded by musicians, actors, artists, and photographers. The nomadic lifestyle and good music brought up a creative personality in the hero of our video. Mom raised Shannon and me in the right direction. Since childhood, she played Kiss and Deep Purple records for us. It was that moment when our formation as musicians began, and in the future, it would bear fruit. They had no money for expensive toys or entertainment, so they read a lot and sometimes went to the cinema with their mother to watch the films of her beloved Oliver Stone. However, this interest in creativity and cinema did not interfere with criminal tendencies at all.
I actually worked at a movie theater when I was a kid, and I got fired for selling weed out the back door. I was just
you were
an entrepreneur.
You were hustling.
That's right.
Trying to sell popcorn and weed at the same time. What's wrong with that?
They go well together.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
The Leto brothers grew up on the street. Their entrepreneurship and charm served as their weapons and protection. When they were kids, it didn't cost them anything to steal a box of chocolates or a couple of Coke cans in the store. Having agreed in advance, they divided the roles and distracted the sellers with conversations. Every year, a dangerous whirlpool sucked Jared in more and more. The actor does not hide that drugs were a serious problem for him during a certain period. "I started doing different drugs at school," he admitted once. "And this period was not a passing one for me. It lasted for quite a long time, but at some point I realized that hobbies of this kind greatly hinder me. And I asked myself, what do I want? Get high or achieve something? If I choose the second option, will drugs help me in this? And I realized, no, they won't. Therefore, I had to make a choice, and I do not regret it." Fortunately, Jared's passion for creativity eventually overcame everything else, and he pulled himself together. After graduating from high school, Jared enrolled in the Philadelphia Institute of Painting, but in the process of studying, he realized that he was more interested in cinema. Then he transferred to the School of Visual Arts in New York, where he wrote the script and directed his first short film project, Crying Joy. In 1992, with a backpack and only $300 in his pocket, Leto moved to Los Angeles. He was determined to become a director. Deciding that the path to the director's chair lies through acting, he began to call various studios. After a while, he got cameo roles in a couple of TV series. The role of Jordan Catalano became successful for Jared. He took part in the American teen drama series about the hardships of growing up, My So-Called Life. His character was the object of desire of the main heroine of the story, and pretty soon every teenage girl decorated the walls with Jared Leto posters. Although the series consisted of one season, it won a Golden Globe and launched the careers of many current movie stars, including its star Claire Danes. The young actor was noticed by critics. They said that the guy had not only model-type appearance, but also excellent dramatic potential. Filming in the series allowed Jared to make a name for himself. In 1996 and 1997, he was included in the list of the 50 most beautiful people in the world, according to People magazine. In 1994, Jared Leto appeared on the big screen for the first time. He starred with Alicia Silverstone in the independent movie Cool and Crazy. A year later, Jared appeared in the film How to Make an American Quilt with Ellen Burstyn, Kate Capshaw, and Winona Ryder. In 1996, the audience saw the actor in the title role of the movie The Last of the High Kings. He played a 17-year-old guy who had just failed school exams and decided to cut loose on summer vacation. Jared was a gift of fate for the producers, despite the fact that at the time of filming the actor was 10 years older than his on-screen character. It was completely unnoticeable. As the actor himself admitted later, it was all about good genetics. In 1997, Jared managed to get the main role in a biopic about sports legend Steve Prefontaine. The script of this movie was originally written for Tom Cruise. Well, whereas previously it was enough for Jared to simply use his natural charisma, that time he needed serious preparation for the role. That was the moment when Leto first showed himself as an actor devoted to art. He fully got into the role, mentally went through the whole life path of his character. Jared not only trained in long-distance running, but also managed to change his voice so that Steve's own sister burst into tears at the pre-premiere screening, recognizing her brother's intonation. Serious directors paid attention to the promising actor after the release of the movie. Offers literally started pouring in. Leto could be sure that his career would go up after such success. However, let's not forget that cinema wasn't the only thing that Jared was interested in. His love for music, which originated in childhood, grew stronger every year. One day, together with his brother Shannon, Jared decided to create a band. Young people spent 6 to 7 hours a day rehearsing. At first, they played together. Later, the group expanded to a quartet. Solon Bixler played guitar and Matt Wachter played bass. By 1998, the brothers had a full-fledged rock band. The band gave its first performances under different names until it finally became 30 Seconds to Mars. The idea came from the manuscript Argus Apocryphex. In this work, a Harvard scientist wrote that rapidly developing technological progress would soon allow humanity to overcome the distance from Earth to Mars in 30 seconds. The main specificity of this thought is that even at the speed of light, this path cannot be overcome faster than 180 seconds. 30 Seconds to Mars worked on their debut album simultaneously with giving concerts in American bars and clubs. Several record companies were interested in the demo recording at the same time. The band signed a contract with Immortal Records and then with Virgin Records. Music is a confession. It is impossible to give yourself half to music. When you write a song, you give away a part of your soul. Therefore, in front of an audience of 140,000 people, I feel more comfortable than in front of a single friend in a restaurant. After all, I don't play a role on stage. The musicians did not use bodyguards from the very beginning of their career. They used security only when it was prescribed in the terms of the contract by the organizers of the tour. Close communication with fans sometimes ended badly for the artists. For example, fans in the heat of passion broke Jared's nose at one of the concerts in Texas. However, even such out-of-bounds acts of love did not change the group's attitude to their safety. Jared combined active music lessons with filming. In 1998, Leto's acting piggy bank was replenished with the drama Basil and the detective horror Urban Legend. In the same year, the actor appeared in the film The Thin Red Line by Terrence Malick. The cast was wonderful. It included Sean Penn and George Clooney. As Jared recalled, auditioning for this role was one of the worst in his career. The actors had to shoot imaginary bullets and pretend they were at war, hiding behind overturned tables. But Jared was too embarrassed, so he just stood up in the middle of the audition and refused to continue. However, for some reason, the director still took him to this role. After that, there was the drama Girl Interrupted. Jared's colleagues on the set were Winona Ryder and Angelina Jolie. The next movie was Black and White with Robert Downey Jr. and Ben Stiller. You know, unique films were released those days. They were very bold. They challenged society. Directors of these movies were original and free from prejudice. One of these creators was David Fincher. When Jared found out that the director was going to make a movie based on the scandalous novel Fight Club, he realized that he really wanted to participate in this project. The perseverance of the young actor brought him the role of a guy named Angelface. He was one of the members of the club. Do you remember? You mustn't mention him to anyone. The director managed to create the necessary mood on the set, which the whole team was imbued with. Everyone wanted to get into a mess, to do something so special, but on the dark side of the universe. According to Jared, working with Fincher was just a dream. It is interesting that the actors who played minor roles did not spend much time rehearsing the fight scenes.
And it was supposed to be like you're fighting like you would fight, not like a professional fighter, I should say, like the character would fight.
At the end of the film, Jared had to apply plastic makeup for the first time in his life. The actor has quite unpleasant memories linked with this event. When the plaster cast was fixed to him, he caught a panic attack due to claustrophobia. Since then, Jared agrees to plastic makeup only as a big exception. 2000 was the year of dramas and psychological thrillers. The actor took part in American Psycho and Requiem for a Dream. In the first movie, Jared got the supporting role, but in Requiem for a Dream, he was approved for the main role. His hero was a heroin-addicted guy from Brooklyn who was being raised by an elderly mother. In order to get into character, Jared lost 28 pounds and got acquainted with real Brooklyn heroin addicts. I met a girl, and a few days later, her boyfriend told me that she died in the hospital from an overdose. However, it wasn't enough. Director Darren Aronofsky asked Jared Leto and Marlon Wayans to refuse from sexual contact and sugar consumption for a month. This was required so that the actors could feel something similar to withdrawal.
It was just really special. We all felt like, okay, this is an opportunity to see what we're made of, to push ourselves really hard. And I did go through a really intense body transformation for the role. My thought was I wanted the character to be in a place of constant, starvation, of craving, of desire.
The film received mostly positive reviews and entered the top 10 films of the year according to the AFI Awards. Deep and believable. That's how Jared Leto's acting was described. Most people wouldn't be able to show the gradual transition from a young man with great ambitions to a person who completely rejected society. However, Leto demonstrated unprecedented professionalism and proved that he was an actor who primarily was able to play non-trivial roles. Surprisingly, after all the work was done, the nominations of prestigious film awards bypassed Jared. It's interesting that now this role is considered one of the best in the actor's filmography. What movie with Jared's participation do you like the most? Be sure to share your opinion in the comments. In the same year, the comedy drama Sunset Strip was released. There, Jared played the role of an energetic and hyperactive country rocker. Although the film did not gain fame among the viewers, critics agreed that the picture perfectly conveyed the atmosphere of the 70s, the era of sassy rock and roll. Well, Jared had enough rock in his life. In 2001, 30 Seconds to Mars went to rural Wyoming to record their debut album. They were assisted by Bob Ezrin, a keyboardist who had worked with Alice Cooper, Deep Purple, Pink Floyd, and Kiss. By the time of recording, the band had composed about 50 songs, but only 11 of them were included in the album 30 Seconds to Mars. The album focuses on human struggle and self-determination, in which otherworldly elements and conceptual ideas are used to illustrate a truthful personal situation. Due to the September 11 attacks, the album underwent changes. In particular, its cover was changed. Previously, it represented an image of a fighter pilot ejecting from an exploding plane. In addition, the song Revolution was removed from the track list. Despite Jared's fame, the audience of the band's debut album was relatively small. One of the authoritative music magazines called the album attempts of a sophomore. However, by the beginning of work on the second album, the musicians had corrected the mistakes. Alas, the album A Beautiful Lie was postponed for a long time, as Leto's acting career left little time for music. In 2002, David Fincher released his movie Panic Room. The director and Jared already knew each other. The actor appeared in the image of a talkative and clumsy robber and concurrently the grandson of the former owner of the house in which the characters of Jodie Foster and the young Kristen Stewart settled. James Cox's crime drama Highway was another independent movie in Jared's career. The film received mixed reviews, but Jared was able to work with a rising Hollywood star, Jake Gyllenhaal. In 2004, the actor finally appeared in a large-scale film with an impressive budget, Alexander. Jared's days of shooting coincided with the recording of the new album of 30 Seconds to Mars, but Leto couldn't refuse from either of it, so he tried to combine the two jobs. As a result, due to the fact that the filming took place in different countries, Jared had to record a new album on 4 continents. The actor played Hephaestion, a friend and lover of Alexander the Great. Although Jared didn't get the main role, his character became the most discussed. Enormous financial resources were spent to shoot this movie, so the creators expected to receive at least one of the Oscar nominations for it.
Some say these Alexanders have become extensions of Alexander himself. They draw people into the city so as to make slaves.
However, the film did not get much at the box office, and the critics did not appreciate the efforts, and the picture received as many as 6 nominations for the Golden Raspberry Anti Award. Many stated that the grand failure of the movie happened because of the director's decision to focus the plot on the king's relationship with Hephaestion. This alienated some moviegoers who expected to see a heroic commander and warrior in the center of the plot. Despite the fact that Alexander's bisexuality was confirmed by ancient authors, in Greece, local activists want the movie to be banned in the country, believing that the film offended the memory of Alexander the Great. As a result, the screening in Greece took place in a limited circle. But Jared himself didn't have time to get upset because his music career was gaining momentum. In 2005, the band released their second album, A Beautiful Lie. This is how Jared Leto describes the second album. It was time to take a more personal and less cerebral approach. Although this record is still full of conceptual elements and thematic ideas, it is ultimately much more wrapped around the heart than the head. It's about brutal honesty, growth, and change. It is an incredibly intimate look into a life that is in the crossroads, a raw emotional journey, a story of life, love, death, pain, joy, and passion. The album received the platinum status in the USA and got gold status in several European countries, as well as many nominations at various music awards. The track The Kill set a record for maintaining the 3rd place on the modern rock chart for more than 50 weeks. The group got their first Sirius Award in 2006, receiving an MTV2 award for the video of the song The Kill. In addition, the video for the song From Yesterday became the first American video in history which was completely shot on the territory of the People's Republic of China. The director of these and subsequent clips of the band was Jared Leto himself. He hid under the pseudonym Bartholomew Cubbins. In parallel with the album, 2 films with Jared's participation was released. The first one was the crime drama Lonely Hearts. Once again, the actor got lucky. He worked with John Travolta, Salma Hayek, and James Gandolfini. After that, he took part in Lord of War with Nicolas Cage and Bridget Moynihan. Jared continued to challenge himself by choosing complicated projects and ambiguous characters. In the movie Chapter 27, he got the role of John Lennon's killer, Mark Chapman. The actor again made sacrifices and gained almost 66 pounds to prepare for filming. The task turned out to be very difficult for a thin actor. Leto sat on a special diet to do this, but it was difficult for the actor because he was a vegan. A few dozen extra pounds brought Leto a lot of health problems. By the end of filming, his health deteriorated sharply and he got the gout. As the actor later said, he could hardly move around the set.
I wish maybe someone had stopped me and said, hey, no. Maybe like 20 pounds is good. Maybe get some prosthetics. But I went for it, and it was fascinating how that gaining that 60-something pounds changed the way that I walked, that changed the way that I talked, changed the way even that I laughed.
In this movie, you can recognize the famous actor only by his eyes. There is nothing of Leto's personality in Chapman's image. That was a very crazy transformation. Well, that's the main reason why it was worth watching the film. Jared Leto successfully conveyed to the viewer the inner world of his hero. The film didn't show the story from the side of condemnation, but it got us acquainted with Chapman's inner world. The authors tried to get as close as possible to the criminal so we could understand what made him decide on such an act. Unfortunately, the film failed at the box office and was reviewed unfavorably by critics. Lennon's fans were outraged by the very fact of the existence of this movie. In their opinion, the promotion of the murderer of their idol was a complete blasphemy. In the spring of 2010, the movie Mr. Nobody by the Belgian director Jaco van Dormael was released. There, Leto played the main role. The action of the film took place in the not-too-distant future. The main character suddenly woke up in 2092 as a decrepit old man and realized that he was the 118-year-old last mortal on the planet, living out his life among happy, immortal people. It's interesting that in one of the realities, his hero's life was connected with Mars, as is the case of Jared's band. By the way, the voice of the dying old man was imitated by Jared Leto himself without using any technologies for synthesizing it.
It was many hours. And I wouldn't be able to do that again because I get pretty claustrophobic. And, that was full head piece. I mean, that goes on and you're in it. You can't pull it off if you wanted to. So it makes my palms sweat just thinking about it.
Preparation for the start of filming required a year of hard work, while the process itself did not take much time. But post-production took more than 15 months, which was kind of a record. As a rule, only new parts of popular franchises are postponed for a longer period for the sake of warming up the viewer's interest. The film won the Golden Osella for the Best Technical Assistance and the award for the Best Biographical Film at the 2009 Venice Film Festival. Critics praised Jared's performance and noted that his acting talent in this movie really manifested itself to the fullest. After this film, Jared Leto took a break from acting to concentrate on his band. In 2009, 30 Seconds to Mars released their third album, This Is War. We can easily consider the fans of the group as the participants of the recording process. The musicians organized a convention during the production of the album. In the process of recording, fans supplemented Jared's vocals with choral parts, set the rhythm with claps, rustled boxes and packages for a unique sound. Also, fans were photographed. Their portraits served as covers for 2,000 versions of the album. The songs Kings and Queens and This Is War took first place on the Alternative Songs chart. Closer to the Edge became the biggest-selling rock hit of 2010 in the UK. TV channels didn't want to broadcast the video version of the song Hurricane. The video lasted 13 minutes and 8 seconds and included scenes of sexual violence. Nevertheless, the version with censorship went on the air. The tour in support of the This Is War album entered the Guinness Book of Records as the longest tour ever made. The musicians played 307 concerts from February 2010 to December 2011. Leto also did not forget about his dream to become a director. In 2012, he directed the documentary Artifact, which told about the modern music business. The movie won the Audience Award for Best Documentary at the Toronto International Film Festival. In 2013, after a long break, Jared returned to the cinema. He played one of the main roles in Jean-Marc Vallée's drama Dallas Buyers Club. The script of the film was sent to him while he was on tour. At that time, Leto plunged into music. Things were going great, and at first he thought, why should I give up everything now for the sake of filming? However, as soon as the actor read the script, he realized that this project was special. The fact that the Dallas Buyers Club was filmed and released was already a kind of miracle. The project had been waiting in the wings since the 90s and might not have come out at all if it hadn't been for the initiative of Matthew McConaughey, who personally found funding for filming. In general, movie companies had rejected offers of a film adaptation of this drama 20 times. The movie told the true story of Ron Woodruff, a Texas electrician who was diagnosed with AIDS in 1985. Doctors gave him only 30 days, but he did not want to accept the death sentence and managed to prolong his life by taking unconventional medications. Jared Leto played a drug-addicted, HIV-infected trans woman district. Woodruff founded an illegal business with this woman, selling unlicensed drugs to other HIV-infected people.
Not use the word we. Now you want to put your apron on? Start cleaning shit up.
I wouldn't know where to start.
In order to look more like HIV-infected people, Jared Leto and Matthew McConaughey had to lose almost 45 pounds in just half a year. Leto, who always fully got into his characters, this time also remained true to himself. One day, he left the set being in makeup and dressed right on heels, and in this outfit, he went to the grocery store. The locals were shocked by his image. It was scary, unbearable, and delightful. It was then that I realized that these people need incredible courage every day. The movie was made in a very short time because of the financing troubles. The director had to finish the filming in just 25 days. The movie was shot with one portable camera. There were no conventional lighting systems, and the duration of the take reached 15 minutes. They also had to forget about rehearsals, and lucky for the actors, they did not have to additionally resound the dialogues. The whole film was the fruit of the incredible love and dedication of each member of the film crew. Due to a lack of funding, the makeup budget was only $250. According to McConaughey, makeup artists stole charcoal to make up the actors. Their work and professionalism were appreciated. The film won an Oscar in the nomination for Best Makeup and Hairstyling. Dallas Buyers Club was rejected by studios for a long time. Only a few believed in its success. However, with a budget of $5 million, it managed to collect $55,198,285 at the worldwide box office. The film was very warmly received by the world press and got many nominations for prestigious film awards. In particular, the acting skills of McConaughey and Jared Leto were highly praised. According to the overwhelming majority of reviewers, these two reached the pinnacle of their acting skills here, having performed the best roles in their careers. Both McConaughey and Leto were awarded Golden Globes and Oscars for their characters. In the same 2013, the world heard the new album made by 30 Seconds to Mars, Love, Lust, Faith, and Dreams. Some tracks from the album, according to critics, turned out to be passable, but Do or Die and City of Angels got high ratings from both critics and fans. The fate of the single Up in the Air was quite interesting. On March 1st, 2013, the recording was delivered to Earth orbit by the Dragon spacecraft, and on March 18th, the song premiered on the International Space Station. This date was declared the day of 30 Seconds to Mars by the mayor of Houston, Annis Parker. In 2014, it became known that Jared would play the role of the Joker in the Suicide Squad. Initially, the studio invited Ryan Gosling to the role, but he eventually refused due to the unwillingness to sign a contract with the studio for several films at once, and after that, the producer's choice fell on Jared. It was speculated that because of the gloomy atmosphere of the film, psychologists were constantly on the set. They took care of the actors, not allowing them to fall into depression or go crazy. However, there were even rumors on the internet that the actor gave his colleagues strange gifts in the spirit of his character. For example, the actor gave a bag of bullets to Will Smith. Margot Robbie received a love letter with a live rat, and Adewale Akanwe Agbaje got an old issue of Playboy and a dead pig. We don't know if this info is true. Anyway, Jared denied the rumor about the rat given to Margot Robbie in an interview, saying that the only thing the actress received from him was delicious vegan cinnamon buns. While working on the character, Asylum, a serious house on serious earth, Joker from this comic book is an extraordinary personality, capable of confusing and unsettling on the one hand and captivating on the other. Some of the factors that influenced his vision of the image were gospel music, shamans, and Mexican drug cartels. Nevertheless, the movie received a lot of negative reviews from film critics. The film has a rating of 26% based on 387 reviews on Rotten Tomatoes. Later, director David Ayer admitted in an interview that he would like to do some things differently, giving the Joker more screen time. In 2017, Leto appeared as an anti-hero in the cyberpunk thriller Blade Runner 2049 with Ryan Gosling. His character was the mad scientist Neander Wallace, who stood for the revival of replicants and the destruction of humanity. Initially, director Denis Villeneuve wanted to give the role to David Bowie, but the singer died before filming began. After that, the producers turned their attention to Jared Leto, deciding that he exudes the sensuality of rock star Bowie.
Blade Runner, the original Blade Runner, one of my top films for me, just a genius movie. I fell in love with that movie on VHS as a kid and watched it over and over, and it taught me a lot about cinema and acting and set design and creativity. I remember getting the call, Neander Wallace, and I was like, okay. As soon as I saw that name on the script, I thought, wow, where do we go from here? This is amazing. But I can't believe I got to be in Blade Runner. For me, that's like, just now I know I'm living in a simulation.
Leto didn't have much screen time, but that didn't stop him from plunging into preparing for the role. Since his character was blind, the actor used opaque contact lenses, so he saw absolutely nothing. Also, Leto spent a lot of time in the company of people with various visual impairments, watching their movements and reactions. He entered the room and he could not see at all. He was walking with an assistant very slowly. It was like seeing Jesus walk into a temple. Everybody became super silent and there was a kind of sacred moment. Everyone was in awe. It was so beautiful and powerful, I was moved to tears. Denis Villeneuve. Unfortunately, after being released, Blade Runner 2049 did not recoup the money invested in it. At the same time, the film was well received by the American press and various US publications. They even included the movie in their lists of the best films of 2017. Many critics named Blade Runner a worthy successor, developing the franchise universe. Meanwhile, 30 Seconds to Mars was working hard on their 5th studio album. In 2017, the band announced that the main single would be Walk on Water. Jared Leto dedicated the premiere of the song to Chester Bennington, Linkin Park frontman, and Chris Cornell, who died the same year. The album was released in 2018 and was named America. It got up to the 2nd place in the US Billboard 200 chart and also hit the top 10 tracks in more than 17 countries. The group's style changed and shifted towards electro and music pop. In addition, the text also became more topical and referred to acute social problems. While Jared was traveling around the world with a tour in support of the album, the crime drama The Outsider was released on the screens. Here, the musician played the main role of American soldier Nick Lowell. In 2019, Jared created his own directorial project, the documentary A Day in the Life of America. The project was shot for one day. 92 film crews participated in its creation. They were sent to different parts of the country on 4th of July on Independence Day. In 2021, Jared appeared in the crime thriller The Little Things. John Lee Hancock wrote the script of the film almost 30 years ago, and Steven Spielberg was initially considered as a director, but he refused the offer, considering the story too dark. John postponed the project and started working on several biographical dramas. However, the director did not give up hope of returning to his long-standing script, and in 2019, he finally decided to personally direct the picture. He managed to get Oscar-winning Denzel Washington and Rami Malek for the main roles, and for the completeness of the collection, he needed a charismatic actor who would play a man suspected of serial murders. At first, when the role was offered to Jared, the actor wanted to refuse, saying that he was focused on a musical career. But after reading the script, he agreed to make an exception. the director has never regretted he invited Jared to the project. Jared Leto is a natural actor. I addressed him by the character's name between takes and wrote down everything that Jared gave out in response. He was absolutely open to everything I offered. John Lee Hancock. This noir thriller looks as if it came from the 90s. It attracts you with its atmosphere and great acting. The film premiered on January 29, 2021. Reviewers praised the atmosphere and the director's work, but many began to compare The Little Things with the film's Seven, and of course, the latter one in this comparison. Nevertheless, Jared Leto was nominated for a Golden Globe Award and a Screen Actors Guild of America Award in the Best Supporting Actor category for his role.
Standard.
Mind if I take a look? I'm in the market.
It's not for sale.
All I need to do is take a look.
In 2021, Ridley Scott's film House of Gucci was released. There, Jared played the Italian businessman Paolo Gucci. Many actors went through a series of transformations for this film. For example, Lady Gaga dyed her hair brown and worked tirelessly on her Italian accent. Nevertheless, it was the transformation of Jared Leto into the role of Paolo Gucci that turned out to be the most radical. In the film, the actor was made up beyond recognition, but this, of course, was only part of the transformation. According to the actor, he got into the role so much that he had olive oil instead of blood in his veins. This was a deep dive I did. If you look at a biopsy of my skin, it would come back as Parmesan cheese. This is my love letter to Italy. There was a lot of work and preparation, and yes, I had an Italian accent and I enjoyed and embraced that, and lived in that space as much as I could for as long as I possibly could. The House of Gucci was negatively received by heirs of the Italian family. According to them, the movie offends the memory of Aldo Gucci and harms the reputation of the famous brand. Designer Tom Ford also spoke negatively about the character, saying that the brilliant actor Leto in this film was literally buried under a ton of latex makeup. Despite the magnificent cast, the film received very mixed reviews from viewers and critics. However, The House of Gucci grossed well at the box office. The premiere of Morbius with Jared in the title role has been announced for 2022. His character, Dr. Michael Morbius from the Marvel Universe, was a scientist who suffered from a rare blood disease and tried to cure himself. And this, unfortunately, led to disastrous results. He turned into a vampire. Jared has always been famous for his love affairs. He had many of them. To this day, he is considered one of the most attractive bachelors in Hollywood. In 1991, he dated the star of the sitcom Punky Brewster, Soleil Moon Frye. Their relations lasted about a year. From 1999 to 2003, Leto built a relationship with Cameron Diaz. There were rumors that the couple were getting married, but in the end, they broke up. Fans could only guess about the reasons for the breakup. In 2004, Scarlett Johansson became Jared Leto's girlfriend. The relationship ended after just a year, although in 2012, they were seen together at the Democratic Convention. That day, they held hands so sweetly. Another celebrity who became Leto's partner was Ashley Olsen. In the press, they were often called friends with privileges. Being together outside, they looked like a couple, but Ashley made it clear in an interview that they were just friends. In 2008, it was speculated in the media that the actor had an affair with Paris Hilton. Sources close to the socialite claimed they had nothing serious, but Hilton considered Jared very sexy and funny. Subsequently, the blue-eyed, ageless, handsome man had many more relations, but Jared always claimed that the love of his life was work. I am completely in love, and I think only about one thing, about my work. My relationship with her is so serious that I don't feel emptiness in my life, even when I'm not dating anyone. My creativity is enough for me. Here are some facts that you might not know about our hero. Jared doesn't watch the movies he took part in. He doesn't feel comfortable when he sees himself on the screen. That's why he tries not to rewatch even the final versions of films with his participation. Jared is a committed vegan with 20 years of experience. In addition, he takes part in animal protection actions, advertises artificial fur clothing, promotes environmental care, and also actively participates in various kinds of charity. In December 2021, Jared Leto turned 50. Nevertheless, he looks about 35. What is the secret? Jared says it's all about healthy food and sleeping. But there is also another equally effective way. When you're constantly working, you need time to reboot. And for Jared, it's a change of his activities. When he finishes work on the film, he sits down to record another album. When he returns from a concert tour, he takes a role in a new movie. This switching gives a feeling of incredible freedom. Well, Jared is really good at combining the different interests and pleasing fans of his work. Whatever project he chooses, we know that the actor will plunge into it and show a wonderful performance. While we are all waiting for new works from Jared, we suggest you click on this icon and watch our video about how comic book movies developed. Don't forget that Jared has become a part of different superhero universes more than once. In this video, you will find out why superheroes are so popular, how films about them developed, and how September 11th is linked with it. Well, that's all for today. It was the Biographer. Like this video and see you soon. Bye-bye.